there's a rather famous and long-running detective or police series called Tatort, originally a German idea. And Gustav and Hannah, partner, they once for a DVD they selected episodes or scenes in about 200 episodes of this series, which ran for about 20 or 25 years. Is it still running? Still running, okay. 40 years. And they selected a number of scenes that have to do with migration in one way or another, whether it's human trafficking or romantic relationships or work, etc. They collected it on a DVD. Another example of the effect of migration to the West is a short film called Mariage Blanc, which is sort of a would-be video for a dating website. This was made, by the way, before dating websites, and I think it dates from 1996, where a Moroccan man describes himself as being eligible for a European woman. It's about 10 or 12 short scenes with each time a different flag of a European country projected behind him. The film you're about to see combines these two elements, but more than the other examples that I mentioned, it works on a more personal level. First of all, because it has as its topic home movie materials, and all to do with a situation of migration. So that means that either people look at themselves in new surroundings, or they show themselves in the new surroundings and then send back their films to their loved ones and friends in the home country that they leave behind. But it's also personal because sort of we call it in Dutch a red thread throughout the film, sort of a motif, is that the man I just mentioned, who was the Moroccan man who presented himself in Mariage Blanc, actually is a friend of Gustav and Hannah's, and they go with him he lives in Holland, they go with him back to Morocco, where instead of Skype talks, now the live contact, the real contact is being re-established with his family. I won't tell you more about the film, not only that I don't want to be a plot spoiler, but also I haven't seen the film. That's why I said I introduce Gustav and not the film, because we have a sort of a silent agreement that I cannot see the DVD until I've seen the film on the screen. It's a very weird sort of screen practice, but then that's Gustav Deutsch. Thank you, and now Gustav.
Thank you, Nico. I'm always learning a lot when you talk about my work, about myself. Thank you so much. Well, thank you, Nancy, for inviting me again, because I've been here 2010 already on his invitation. I'm happy to present my new film in this wonderful context of these 3 days. Just let me briefly say something about the subject this whole conference is about, forgetting the archive. As Nico already mentioned, I belong to this filmmakers tribe, working with already existing material, found footage. Finding footage is misleading somehow, because most of the time we are spending a lot of research in archives. And especially for this trilogy that I made, Film East, which is called the phenomenology of the medium itself, explained by the medium itself, by its own means. I spent, I don't know how many hours, weeks, months in archives, researching together with Hannah, my partner. And this is a practice that is now almost impossible anymore. And that's why I'm referring to forgetting the archive, because me as a filmmaker, I almost can forget to work with an archive nowadays, because digitalization is something that may be good for the availability of other people, but not for filmmakers. I used to work with the real material. They brought it to me from this film stock. I had it on the editing table. I could stop it. I could go backwards, forwards, slow motion, whatever I wanted to do. And we were, especially Hannah, always drawing still images while we were watching. So now when somebody tells me, just go online, we have all our films anyway, internet, you don't even have to come to the archive, I'm very disappointed because my work is based on collaboration with the members, with the people who work in the archives, because I cannot also work with the catalog system. What I'm looking for are things, or was looking for, are things that are very minimalistic. Like, for example, film is comic. I was looking for scenes where somebody is falling off a ladder. So you can hardly type in falling off a ladder and then find 5 film titles. So if I ask Nico, for example, or Mark from the Netherlands Film Museum, or Nicolas Vostre from the Film Archive Austria, maybe, do you know, is there any film where somebody falls off a ladder? They immediately have the titles. So because they know the films by heart, they have them here. So, and I could work with their brain, with their visual knowledge. So if somebody now tells me just look up in the net, I'm lost. I cannot find anything. So this point of collaboration is gone. Second, nowadays, when I ask archives, I would like to research for 3 weeks, they say, okay, the minute is so and so. I mean, you're paying for the hour nowadays because they had to invest in digitization. And now they have to get back the money from the clients. This is all very costly. But I'm not a client that can pay that. I mean, a television station maybe can pay the cost this nowadays, but I can't. So, lucky enough, I have, because of my long-term relationship with archive, a special status. So they call me as their filmmaker, for example, the Netherlands Film Museum. But whatever this means, a young filmmaker has no choice nowadays. So he has no possibility to get access to this material, or he finds a sponsor to pay the rent. And third, all these films up till Weltspiel Kino, which was 2005, were made analog. So filmed frame by frame, refilmed frame by frame with a 35mm camera. While I was working on the last part of Film East, all the labs crashed. So they went bankrupt. So I couldn't, in any case, work analog anymore. So already the third part, Film is a Girl and a Gun, was made digitally, and afterwards we transferred it to 35mm. And with the new films after that, I had to work digitally. So that's what's going on nowadays. But I don't want to complain. I had a great time in these archives. I got to know a lot of people, still have good relationships, friendships, and this is what collaboration is about. Film is a teamwork, and that's what it's about. And if somebody tells me, go to the net, I say, it's not my business. Sorry. So that's what I wanted to say about the archive. Well, one main focus in my work with found footage is home movies. So I made from 1990 onwards till now 7 films that are related to home movies, working with home movie material, sometimes complete. The whole film is made of home movie material, like the first film, Adria, holiday films from 1958 to 1968, filmed on the Adriatic Sea during the holidays of mostly Viennese people, up till the last one that we see today, how we give messages to the family. Just let me say, before we start, there were 2 starting points for this film. One was that I wanted to look at a very Nico said migration is one subject I'm interested in. I wanted to look at migration from the side of migrants. So how they filmed their new home, what they filmed, and how they kept contact with their families back home via film. So film as a visual message between families members not living together. And then I was interested how this changed in the course of time, the course of the development of the Schauer homophobe, starting from the times of the colonies to the times of working migration in the 60s, 70s, and then ending nowadays with YouTube uploads and Skype. So this film is also a kind of reflection of this genre home movie and how it's developing and what also this means in terms of self-responsibility of somebody who is uploading private material to the net, and how the close frame of the family was wound up to the big family of the international community of the internet. Also, what I wanted to say with home movies, it was another process than with my other films, because all the archives have home movies, but many of them don't take care of them as they should, because they are not in the canon of film history. So home movies are still regarded as something that is very private and something that is not very interesting for other people besides family. But the fact is that history is made up of private stories of ordinary people. And in these films, of these private home movies, you can always detect history, social background, political background of the time that these films were made in. They say a lot about the conditions people who made these films were living in. And if you look carefully, not always what is in the foreground, but maybe sometimes more interesting in the background, which was not in the main focus, you can detect a lot that is more interesting than the private stuff that is embedded. So, just to conclude, film archives that are collecting home movies should also take very much care of oral history, because a home movie without the collection of the stories of the people are just pictures. If you don't know who is who, if you don't know who was then going to America because of which conditions, this is just it's very abstract. So all the footage you see today and all the families I was working with, I got a lot of information from archives because they are doing oral history. So this is it has to be together. I mean, nobody can collect home movies without collecting the stories behind the movies. And this is what is done mainly by local archives. So I was mainly working then also with either specialized archives like the archive in Bologna called Archivio Nazionale del Film de Famiglia. They only collect home movies, nothing else. Or I was working with specialized institutions like the Center for South Asian Studies in Cambridge, or the archive in Manchester, for example, which is combined with the local library. And they know all the people, they know their people, they know who donated this film. And I would not have worked with any home movie material in this film without knowing the stories behind. To conclude, to work with home movies for a filmmaker means a lot of responsibility. There's this pair of trust and responsibility. So the donators or the archives, they have to have a lot of trust in the filmmaker. But on the other side, the filmmaker has to have a lot of responsibility working with this material. And I always try to present this film, if it's possible, to living members, relatives, sons, daughters, or whatever, two of the families I'm working with the material with. Second, I would not have worked on this film without including an own story, and that's what Nico already said. There's a red line going through this film, and I used the possibility to travel with my friend Mustafa from the Netherlands to Morocco and visit on the way all his brothers and sisters living in Paris, Casablanca, Uster. And while we were traveling, we were uploading what we were filming on our mobile phones, me and him, on the net, and the families, all the family members had access via a Vimeo channel while we were traveling. So that's the nowadays possibility to keep contact while you are already there, while you are going there. If you have the chance to be online and with Skype, then you are even at the same time. And the last thing, these films, the home movies, they were never projected or silent, although most of them are silent. So either they were commented on while they were screened by family members, the father, the mother, the uncle, where we are, who is who, and things like that. So I took the liberty to take the role of one of these family members for this film, and I'm commenting from the off during the whole film what we see. So you have to get used to my voice during this 107 minutes. And we also set the film into sound. So this was also practice that was done by more advanced home movie makers. So they were putting sound on the film afterwards, either by music or by original sounds from the archives. So we did the same. Some of the films, not all of them, some are also silent, but some of the films we put sound on together with a good sound designer, Johannes, I worked with, and with Christian Fennes, a contemporary musician, who put for each family one sequence into a soundtrack. He composed the soundtrack for one sequence of each family. And this is what I usually do when I'm working with historical material. I ask contemporary musicians for a contribution, for a composition, because music can build the bridge from the past to nowadays or even to the future. So enjoy the film, and if you have time, we can have a Q&A afterwards shortly. Thank you so much.
I would highly appreciate if we can a little bit more elaborate on your decision of using Mustafa's footage with sound, but for rest of the footage without sound. Because when you don't use the sound, I feel like you are kind of isolating them from the banality of daily life. However, we watched Mustafa and his family all in sound with all the features of daily life 3D. So I'm really curious about your motivation behind this decision.
No, it was obvious that we will not go to this hometown of Mustafa visiting his mother with a camera crew. It's not possible to enter the home of a Berlin family with unknown members of a group, the team. So it was clear that we will film with our mobile phones, and these mobile phones record everything. So you can't get rid of the music that is in the background or whatever. I mean, what's on the mobile phone recording is on the recording. For the rest of the film, most of the films are silent. But I decided to mix it, to keep some passages silent as they were, And some we set into sound. And we also repeat music on top of it, because for me it's very important that you don't keep the historic image at the time where it comes from. So this music by Christian Fennes was important for me because it's a contemporary contribution, a contemporary musician. And you immediately see, for example, when this woman is dancing as a bride in the black and white footage, you immediately see that this music doesn't belong to the image, doesn't belong to the time, and it gives the image another meaning. Like, for me, this music is somehow a hint that there's these people, many of these people are not with us anymore. So it's the secret that lies within this music that gives us more information than the image. And I was very happy when the bride, she is 19 years old in this image, and she's now 83, and she was present at the premiere of the film in Austria. And she saw herself as a bride, first time again. And so I was very, I was insecure because this music adds something to her memory. And I was very happy when I found a musician and her talking afterwards, and she was very pleased. so this is a chance you have, and it's also a risk. But I always love, as I said in the beginning, that living members of families and or whatever, sons, daughters are present and see what I've done with the material.
Thank you very much for this great film. I really enjoyed it very much. I was wondering if you, there is an explicit theme of immigration, and I was wondering if you have selected these 6 families because of this theme, or this theme has come up.
No, it's from the very beginning. I mean, I was looking for footage that was shot abroad, not in the hometown of the town people were coming from, as a visual message for the rest of the family. Family is meant in the sense of the family of man. So, for example, Samus didn't shoot footage, didn't shoot film for his family. He shot his films for the family of the migrants of this region in Austria that moved to Chicago. So family in the sense that we are giving messages to our kind of human beings. And from the beginning it was clear that it's about this theme, migration. And it became, while I was working on this film, it became very political in a sense because of this new wave of refugees from Syria. And so I thought one moment maybe I should also focus on this subject of refugees nowadays. But in the end, having seen so many negative images of this present situation in the news, I thought I want to show positive images, giving another examples of people about migration, and not only about refugees. Refugees is something special. I mean, there were also refugees. I mean, this Italian family moving to Lugano in Switzerland, they were forced to leave because they could not make their living in Italy at that time. And also a lot of these people living in Chicago, they had to move out of Austria in the 50s because they couldn't make their living. So they are part of migration movement, but I didn't want to focus on the just current political situation.
Thank you so much. I was wondering if you have ever seen footage. I was wondering if you've ever seen footage of people receiving these messages, because we see some digital examples in Morocco of the mother seeing that carnival footage, but do you have any?
No, I have never seen footage where a family gathers in front of the screen and watches these films. This I have never found. I would have liked to find it, but they didn't film this moment because this was not necessary. I mean, nowadays maybe it's easier to do this, but at that time to film somebody during the screening watching it, I mean this is staging. This means staging. And they didn't think in that category.
Because now we are so much in that selfie.
Yeah, there's an artist from Thailand, and he made now this kind of family gatherings by filming families in Thailand and then their relatives in America, and he puts together on the same image these families. So he puts a fictitious family together. You can find it in the net. I can give you the details. But this is very contemporary. It's made with new media equipment and possibilities.
Shall we do it?
Thank you so much for patience. Thank you.